All right, I'm State Representative Bob Gannon. I'm the chairman of the Urban Revitalization Committee. And I thank the media for coming today. We're excited to be here in Green Bay. We're going to Wausau tomorrow, and then we have 4 other locations throughout Wisconsin that we're going to be going to in the next several months. The Urban Revitalization Committee is purposely designed to go into some of our urban centers and talk to the people affected in those areas. What we're talking about is crime that's affecting quality of life, joblessness, failure to graduate students through the educational process, and poverty, generational poverty as such. We've gotten a good base here from the Boys and Girls Club and heard about some of the great programs that they're running. I'll let Representative Fields, as my vice chair, can touch on some of this. But our hope is that we will find out what is the state doing right when it comes to urban issues and what is the state doing wrong. And hopefully at some point here we will find out if we are funding success stories or if some of our funding should be moved to better programming. Representative Fields?
Thank you, Chairman Gannon. I am State Representative Jason Fields, and as the chairman said, this is it's not about just specifically a Milwaukee issue or a Racine issue, but every urban area in the state of Wisconsin. And I couldn't be more pleased to be on the committee working with an individual who I'm developing a great relationship with. He's a lot more funnier than I am. I'm just better looking. But no, I think what we have here, and I want to thank the Boys and Girls Club here in Green Bay, when they look and talk about Be Great initiatives and how we can duplicate that throughout the state. I think the goal for this committee, again, is to look at what are we doing and how do we hear from the people who are on the ground doing that, making urban areas stronger. And I think we're at a place that's an example of that here in Wisconsin at the Green Bay Boys and Girls Club. And so anything we can do to continue to improve upon what makes an individual successful and the advice that we can hear from the people. And so I want to thank the chair for taking this committee on the road to listen to all the constituents throughout the state of Wisconsin. That's something that you don't see often. And so I want to thank him for that and thank all the elected officials who are here, as well as you, the media, for covering something that's bipartisan approach. You guys don't really see that often, but here you have a older white guy who raps and a fake Green Bay Packer.
Thank you, Representative Fields. Representative Steffen has been an asset here in putting together our trip up to Green Bay, and Representative Genrich has been a big help too, and we want to say thanks to those two for helping us. Senator Coles is here today with us, Representative Mako. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody else has one, but if not, we will see you at 2 o'clock at the... Representative Steffen, do you have...
Well, if you don't mind, can I say
Sure.
this?
Sure.
Join me here, please. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here and these two fine gentlemen. It's a great honor to be hosting the kickoff of this unique initiative here in Green Bay. And we're looking at a lot of perhaps old problems, but we want to find new solutions. And this is part of it, hearing directly from the people, the organizations that are impacted and part of the solution. The Boys and Girls Club is certainly an innovator in that regard. So I'm so thankful that we're able to have this, and certainly thank Representative Gannon and Representative Fields for coming up here, showing their commitment to the cause by being willing to have this hearing offsite outside the Capitol with the people in the urban areas to identify and hopefully develop strategies to address the challenges that are facing all the urban centers in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay. Thank you, and then we will be at...
I'm
sorry. Sure, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, you mentioned the goal of the committee is to find out what the state's doing right and doing wrong.
Correct.
Are we talking about social programs? Are we talking about buildings and urban renewal, that sort of thing, or a little bit of both?
Yes. The answer is a very clear and definite yes. I purposefully did not identify what I think will come out of this committee. This committee is going to be operated similar to like Shark Tank, the show on television, where we will have people come in and tell us their concerns, residents of these neighborhoods. We're going to have groups like the Boys and Girls Club and other, some are parochial, some are government-run programs, tell us about what they're doing in these areas. And then we'll take these ideas and hopefully the representatives will contact the speakers for further information, and then they will come back and come up with the ideas. I don't want to put out, I do have some personal opinions on what I feel should be done, but this committee is not about Representative Gannon. This is about what the people that are in these affected areas say.
Well, you mentioned poverty as
Yes.
one of the things you're going to be looking at. Would you be targeting slumlords or trying to crack down on that sort of thing, or inner cities?
Sure. I've had conversations, I've had many conversations. I'm sure all the representatives on the committee have had conversations with people that are familiar with these areas, and housing is one of the issues that was brought to my attention, that if we could have an increase in home ownership, the pride that comes with neighborhoods of home ownership versus slumlords is important. So yes, there will be a conversation on that topic.
What kind of criteria are you going to evaluate any given program on as you go around to different cities, places like this and everything else? How do you quantify a given program, I guess?
I think when you look at the goal of the committee, we operate by SMART goals. We're looking for specific things. We're looking, can it be measurable? Is it attainable? Has there been performance? Is it time specific? And is it realistic? So when we operate that way, having the ability to find out what works, because when we talk about poverty and what this committee does, urban revitalization can cover so many things. But when we follow under those guidelines, operating SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-measured goals, I think that's how we'll determine, well, what's working, what's not. And again, as the chairman said, hearing from the people who are on the ground doing this, I think that's the best way for us to go forward. And I think that will reveal who's managing money efficiently, who's doing programs efficiently, and who's not.
What would be the timeline when we could see a proposed bill or something like that in the legislature?
There's actually legislation already going through the state legislature that was requested to come to this committee. The speaker's choice on where they go, and they were assigned throughout other committees, but some of them were crime focused on the urban areas. There's going to be other legislation coming forward, and it's not necessarily the legislation will come through this committee, but the ideas will have been found as we go out in the field. If I touch on something that's got to do with education, we have a very qualified education committee at the state assembly already. At crime, we have committees for that. So I suspect we will see the ideas come out of here, but they may not necessarily land in this committee. But our last hearing, or our last public, is I believe the beginning of June.
And where are your other 4 locations other than Wausau and Green Bay?
Racine, Beloit, Oshkosh, Milwaukee. Yeah, there'd be 4 more. Yes. We are purposely moving around the largest urban areas. We're going to 6 of the 10 largest centers. That doesn't mean that those 10 are the only affected areas. We're going to, I suspect we're going to find that the urban issues we find in the bigger cities drift down to the smaller cities as well, whether it's joblessness or it's compacted poverty, generational poverty. I suspect we'll see it. Okay. I do really appreciate everybody coming out today, and we are very excited about this. We will be at the Brown County Library at 2 o'clock today with some invited speakers at 2 o'clock, and we're going to have the public come in and speak right after that. We're available till 6 o'clock, and we want to hear horror stories, and we want to hear success stories. I want to hear about government programs that work. I want to hear about church-based, faith-based programs that work. So please come on out, and thank you so much.